make sure there's deconfliction. Over 70 countries now are participating in our Civil Military Command Center, and here are the results. Aid is up. 4,200 aid trucks have entered Gaza each week for 13 consecutive weeks, the longest stretch of high-volume assistance to Gaza in years. Diversion is down significantly from prior to the ceasefire, with less than 1% diverted this month. Food supplies are way up. We are reaching the full 2.1 million Gazans with aid, up 5 times from the delivery levels before the ceasefire. The percentage of households experiencing severe hunger has dropped from about 30% to down to 1%. As of this past February, drinking water has doubled and child malnutrition has been cut in half. If we could go to the next slide. Mr. President, only under your leadership and this great team could we bring together the United States, Israel, Egypt, Jordan, the UAE, the United Nations agencies. Mr. President, bottom line, like you, this is a board of action, not a board of endless talk or speeches, and these results are a true testament to your leadership and the leadership of this great team. We are saving lives, and it's an honor to be a part of it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Dr. Ali Shaif.
It is my honor to be here representing the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza. Thank you, President Trump, for your leadership, for your continued efforts. A new governing authority is now in place for Gaza, with a clear mandate and a clear commitment to establishing development and stability. However, we are operating in extremely difficult conditions. Large parts of Gaza Strip are severely damaged, destroyed actually. Humanitarian needs are acute. Law and order remain fragile. This is not normal operating environment, President, which is precisely why discipline and prioritization matter. Our priorities, therefore, are defined into 4 categories. First, restore security via professional civilian police under one authority, one law, and one weapon, including training and developing 5,000 Gazan police to be deployed in 60 days. Secondly, revive economic activities and livelihoods, creating decent jobs, especially for our young population. Thirdly, ensure sustainable emergency relief as described earlier. Fourthly, restore basic services including electricity, water, health, and education. And last but not least, the access and movement. Our mandate is simple, President. Step by step to build the foundation for lasting peace, dignity, and prosperity for the people of Gaza. And this is where we count on your continued leadership and support. Blessed the peacemaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Now Nick Mladenov.
Thank you, Caroline, and thank you, Mr. President. Today, we're very happy to announce that we're creating the Office of the High Representative for Gaza of the Board of Peace, which will be there to support, to guide, and assist the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, hopefully removing the roadblocks that they will be facing in taking over civilian and administrative control of the Gaza Strip. We plan to work in full transparency under the guidelines of and supervision of the Board of Peace and the Executive Board. And of course, we will do that in great coordination with the Israel and with the Palestinian institutions, who we both require to make this work on the ground. And certainly with my very good colleague here, General Jefferson, the International Stabilization Force that is coming together. Mr. President, if I can actually use the opportunity to announce some breaking news, that as of this morning, we started the process of recruiting Palestinian police force that Ali was just referring to. And just in the first few hours, we have 2,000 people who have applied to join a new transitional Palestinian police force to be formed in Gaza under the authority of the National Committee, with the support of the Board of Peace, trained in Egypt, where we have received an excellent proposal of how to do that forward. And this is critical to what we need to do as we begin this process. And if we may move to the second slide. It is this Palestinian security force, under the authority of the National Committee for the Transition Period, that will allow us to ensure that all factions in Gaza are dismantled and all weapons are put under the control of one civilian authority. The only way to do that is the full implementation of the 20-point plan and the UN Security Council resolution, which binds us all to make sure that that is the way forward. We have now a fully agreed framework with the mediators on how to do this, and I thank very much the state of Qatar, Egypt and Turkey for their excellent support in this. We now need to move forward on communicating it and negotiating the details of the implementation plan with the factions on the ground. But rest assured to all of you that we're on the right track, and if I can ask one thing of all of us, is to make sure that we have one message. There is no other option except the full demilitarization and decommissioning of all weapons in Gaza for reconstruction to begin and for people to have a new way of life going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick, and congratulations. Now, Major General Jasper Jeffers.
Thank you. Pleased to announce today that the first 5 countries have committed troops to serve in the ISF: Indonesia, Morocco, Kazakhstan, Kosovo, and Albania. And 2 countries have committed to train police: Egypt and Jordan. I would also like to announce that I have offered and Indonesia has accepted the position of Deputy Commander for the ISF. With these first steps, we will help bring the security that Gaza needs for our future prosperity and enduring peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Major General. Mr. Tony Blair.
For decades, Gaza's governance has been characterized by extremism, corruption, ineffective institutions, and the complete absence of a route to prosperity for the Gazan people. Yet, as President Trump recognized, its potential has always been vast. 25 miles of Mediterranean coastline, proximity to great regional and global markets, and a young, dynamic population with a median age of 19. So today we set out profound changes necessary to rebuild Gaza for Gazans. Gaza not as it was, but as it should be, including its governance. Effective public institutions serving the people, a business environment where enterprise flourishes, an education system educating the young for tolerance and achievement, and a tech-enabled society making the most of the digital revolution. This is a vision of Gaza as part of a Middle East at peace. Not a phony piece of declarations no one means and agreements no one intends to keep, but a genuine commitment to a region where, whether you're a Muslim, Jew, Christian, of any faith or none, you can rise by your own efforts and feel your government by your side, not on your back. That is the vision behind President Trump's 20-point plan for Gaza, and it remains the best, indeed the only hope for Gaza, the region, and the wider world.
Thank you. Mr. Yakir Gabay.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Mr. President. Gaza is destroyed. We assembled here on this historic day with common vision to rebuild Gaza for the next generations. Our mission is to recycle and remove 70 million tons of rubble and UXO and hundreds of miles of tunnels, arrange for the population fast temporary housing, in parallel to start construction of infrastructure and permanent housing. We have a detailed master plan for housing and infrastructure of modern schools and hospitals, manufacturing and agriculture, roads and trains, water and energy plants, logistic hubs, telecom, tech and data centers, sports and leisure facilities, seaport and airport, and much more. We lined up many regional contractors who build housing for millions of people in the Middle East. They will join the massive redevelopment with competitive pricing. The funding is ready and will be invested in a free economy. The local population will build their own cities, which will create hundreds of thousands of jobs and will revive the economy. The Gaza coastline is 26 miles long. It can be developed as a new Mediterranean Riviera with 200 hotels and potential islands. The value goes to the Gazans through the Gaza Sovereign Fund. This plan is all subject to a full disarmament of Hamas. Thank you very much. Together we will make this vision into a reality.
Thank you. Mr. Liren Tanmin.
When we asked the NCAG what Gaza needs to unlock its potential, the answer was clear. Reconnect Gaza to the world, digitally and economically, and replace corruption with an open, tax-free system. Gaza was once a vital trade hub between Asia and Europe. Reconnection is a return to its roots. Even the word gauze comes from Gaza, where silk was woven and exported to Europe. So, we brought together Palestinian, Arab, and American partners to deliver practical solutions. By July, Gaza's 2G network will be upgraded with free, high-speed access to essential services. The NCAG is building a secure digital backbone, an open platform, enabling e-payments, financial services, e-learning, and healthcare with user control over data. This effort is supported by our regional partners, and I believe you will hear some exciting news from them on that later today. In parallel, we're advancing an Amazon-like logistics system to help Palestinian launch businesses import globally and trade securely. This will lower prices, drive growth, and help transform Gaza into an open, transparent, corruption-free economic zone. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mark Rowan.
Mr. President, distinguished leaders, the goal is simple. Take the momentum all of you have provided and build it into something that is not just temporary relief, but something that provides a long-term foundation that will enable many of the goals we've spoken about today to be achieved. We plan to do this by gathering Gaza's productive assets in one unified structure. This will allow independent, professional, conflict-free management of the resources to benefit the Gazans. This will also enable expeditious planning and zoning and not fragmented projects that do not contribute to an economic whole. The potential here is tremendous, but it has to start somewhere. The start is in Rafah, where, as you heard, that will be the first place security is deployed. The plan is 100,000 homes for 500,000 residents plus $5 billion of infrastructure. Over time, 400,000 homes for the entirety of the population with more than $30 billion of infrastructure. Let me put it in financial terms. This is not a problem of money or collateral. This is a problem of peace. The coastline alone, $50 billion of value on a conservative basis. The housing stock, more than $30 billion as rebuilt. The infrastructure, more than $30 billion. $115 billion of value. It just needs to be unlocked and financed.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Ajay Banga.
Thank you, Caroline, and thank you, Mr. President. All this requires money. And so when the UN Security Council resolution got passed, we set about creating the Gaza Reconstruction and Development Fund at the World Bank. It's housed there. The World Bank's role is that of a limited trustee. We manage the donor contributions coming in of the type that the President said a little earlier in his opening remarks. And then we help to manage that money while it stays with us. and under the direction of the Board of Peace, we disperse the money for reconstruction and development projects in Gaza. This fund is ready to receive the donations that he spoke about just a little while ago. The second part of the story is that you as donors deserve the right to know that the money is being used in a transparent way. We are helping, along with the Board of Peace, which takes the ownership of ensuring that the right kind of financial, legal, and oversight mechanisms are being put in place. We've even assigned a financial controller from the World Bank on a secondment basis to the Board of Peace to ensure that we can try and help build the best standards in this process. Now, this is just the beginning. This work is going to need 2 or 3 things that the World Bank Group can bring to the table. The first is leveraging of public finance. Because of our AAA rating, we have the ability to leverage private bond money to help to create the resources we need to do what Mark just talked about. The second is we can de-risk private investing. And the third is we have people on the ground and expertise and knowledge of doing this kind of work in other markets. We want to be not an armchair critic of a process, but an active participant in giving Gazans and people in the region the opportunity of the lives they deserve the one time we get the chance. So thank you again.
Thank you all for your tremendous work. Before we turn it over to many of the distinguished leaders who are here today, we are going to hear from Mr. Kushner to talk about the future of the Board of Peace.
Thank you, Caroline, and thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Secretary Rubio. We cannot change the past, but I think that what you're seeing today is that we can potentially change the future if we focus and do this in the right way. We tried to structure this meeting like a proper board meeting, like we do in the private sector, where we have all the preparation, we get the right people together, and we really report on what our challenges are, what the opportunities are, and what are the approaches. What you've seen today is just a small sample of the work that's been done. And I really want to thank the entire team that's worked so hard at this. A lot of these people are volunteers. They're doing this not for any personal gain. People are not personally profiting from this. They are really doing this for their children and for their grandchildren and because they want to see peace. One small anecdote is Liran said to me, "Are you sure I should be presenting? I'm a Jewish Israeli and I'm working on Gaza and all these things." And I said, "That's exactly why you should be presenting today." If Jews and Muslims work together, Israelis and Palestinians with Americans and English and Bulgarian and people from all around the world, then we can kind of join on a common goal, which is peace and togetherness, and that's really what we've done. I want to thank President Trump. I remember working with you on your first foreign policy speech in 2016 that you gave at the Mayflower Hotel, and at the time, those ideas were considered to be very, very radical. What I saw as somebody who didn't have any foreign policy experience were just common sense ideas. Why can't the world be better? Why can't there be peace? Why can't there be more prosperity for all people in all ways? And I think over the last decade, you really have changed the way that the world thinks about a lot of these things. And I think that this organization is bringing a new approach and new ideas and new people together in order to effectuate it. I'd really like to thank all the countries that joined on very early. I see this as a very self-selecting group of countries that really believe that the future can be different and wanted to join in partnership and put their reputations and their resources and their time and their ideas on the way to say, these are the challenges we're putting into that we're solving in our own countries. We want to come with new ideas because we've achieved success and we believe that the world can be better in that regard. So I don't have to go through these slides in great detail, but we've secured today, even without the president's amazing commitment, over $7 billion. As Mark said, we don't really have a resource issue here, although we are going to need everyone's support. We just need to be executing and doing this in a good way. We've dealt with the humanitarian issue. We've returned the hostages. But the one final thing I just want to talk about as well from our perspective is that the President Trump in his heart wanted to get the hostages home, but he also really wanted to help the people of Gaza. He saw the suffering that they were enduring, not through fault of their own, because of the bad leadership that they had, the situation they were born into. The war was a horrific, horrific situation. And I think through this process, thanks to Ali and the committee, we are now here to fully support the committee. We are here to help the people of Gaza, to lift them up and give them every opportunity to succeed. And we really see this as a partnership with them and with the Israelis to see if we can create an environment that can be peaceful, that can be functional, that can offer people the opportunity to really live a better life. and I think you've seen some of the work today, and hopefully we'll be successful. Like I said the last one, failure is not an option, and we have to really push forward and keep finding ways to succeed with this. So really thank you, President Trump, Vice President Vance, and Secretary Rubio, and obviously Steve, who's been, like he said about me, I feel just about him. Working through all these challenges has been an absolute honor and a pleasure with you, and I've really been very lucky to have your partnership. So really thank you all, and I'll give back to Caroline. Thank you.
Thank you, Jared.
The war Hamas began has left. The war Hamas began has left Gaza in ruins. Yet from these ruins, a new future will rise.
It's amazing. Now we will hear from our distinguished leaders who are here today, beginning with the King of the Kingdom of Bahrain. You're welcome.
President Trump, distinguished members of the Board of Peace, it is an honor to participate in this inaugural meeting of board convened by President Donald Trump. I take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt congratulations on this worthy and timely initiative. The meeting comes during the holy month of Ramadan, where we will pray to Almighty God that our endeavors will bring peace, security, prosperity to the world. As a founding member of the Board of Peace, the Kingdom of Bahrain recognizes and endorses the tremendous potential of this body, the extraordinary drive of its chairman, and his sincere efforts to unify nations in our common objectives of fostering and enduring peace for the Middle East. We greatly appreciate President Trump's initiative in presenting the Gaza Peace Plan and establishing this board as a vital platform for dialogue, action, and delivery. As we embark on this historic journey together, We urge all peace-loving nations, organizations, and groups to actively engage in the successful implementation of the second phase of the Gaza peace plan. This includes ensuring a lasting ceasefire in Gaza, facilitating its reconstruction, and providing hope and new opportunities for the people of Palestine and Israel. This inaugural meeting of the Board of Peace marks an extraordinary and pivotal chance to envision a new future to Gaza, one that emerges from the ruins of conflict to building a landscape of security, aspiration, hope, and opportunity for its people. And reaffirming our commitment to this vision, the Kingdom of Bahrain has contributed the funds towards the operations and administration of the Board of Peace, and today we announce our readiness to provide the necessary infrastructure and skills to establish an effective government digital services platform for Gaza. Our decision to join the Abraham Accord and enter into the CCBA agreement with the United States reflects our commitment to advancing peace and stability in the Middle East. The United States' historic and ongoing presence in our region has served as a positive force for stability, and we remain dedicated to strengthening our partnership. We look forward with optimism to working with the Board of Peace and all of our international partners who share our ambitions for a brighter future for all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Next, the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan.
Dear Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, our meeting here at the Donald Trump U.S. Institute of Peace comes at a moment when decisive and pragmatic actions matter most. In fact, it's about making durable peace through practical, target-oriented measures, but not through endless conferences with wishful resolutions. Mr. President, your clear vision and far-sighted approach to promoting global peace and stability has inspired my country to join the Board of Peace. The Board of Peace is widely expected to respond directly to new realities by reinforcing existing multilateral efforts. The world has never seen a move like this. It is absolutely unprecedented because, in essence, peace through construction is a very innovative concept or project, and it has every chance to become a reality by our joint efforts. Therefore, Mr. President, I acknowledge and accept your conviction that lasting peace must be built on concrete actions. As our first step, we are ready to contribute a significant amount of cash finance directly to the Board of Peace without any delay. Kazakhstan is also keen to be part of the restoration and construction process through international companies with strong credentials. The program, mostly funded by our government, may include the construction of infrastructure, housing, residential complexes, schools, hospitals, and other important civilian facilities, as well as the rubble clearance. We pledge to fully accomplish our financial commitment toward the board. As one of the world's major producers of wheat, Kazakhstan is ready to provide humanitarian assistance to enhance food security in Gaza and beyond. Kazakhstan plans to provide 500 scholarships to Palestinian students to pursue academic programs in our universities over a 5-year period. We can share our internationally recognized e-government expertise and other digital solutions. Kazakhstan is willing to support the ISF by deploying military units, including medical units, and sending our observers to the Civil Military Coordination Center. Sustainable development in the Middle East requires new ways to promote peace, cooperation, and trust across the region. That's why Kazakhstan has joined the Abraham Accords. This crucial move is fully aligned with the noble mission of the Board of Peace. Both of them may constitute a solid basis for joint efforts to promote peace and security in the Middle East and to foster economic, humanitarian cooperation in the region and even beyond. Given the global nature of the board's agenda, Kazakhstan is committed to providing practical support, including through hosting meetings at different levels and scales. I also would like to propose to establish a special President Trump's Award of the Board of Peace to recognize his outstanding peace-building efforts and achievements. I am confident, Mr. President, that under your strong leadership, the Board of Peace will successfully deliver its great noble mission. Thank you.
Next, the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan.
Уважаемый господин президент Трамп, ваше превосходительство, позвольте выразить искреннюю признательность президенту Соединенных Штатов Америки Дональду Трампу за созыв инаугурационного заседания Совета. Несомненно, сегодняшний саммит – это результат политической воли и прагматизма президента Трампа. Узбекистан поддержал миротворческую инициативу о создании Совета мира и твердо заявил о намерении принять практическое участие в ее успешной реализации. Убежден, что работа Совета позволит сформировать благоприятную обстановку для экономического и социального восстановления сектора Газа. При этом любой механизм внешнего управления должен непременно опираться на внутреннюю поддержку населения сектора. Скоординированные усилия всех сторон позволят обеспечить устойчивость постконфликтного процесса и создание условий для скорейшего восстановления Газы. Подчеркну, что Узбекистан готов внести посильный вклад в возведение жилых домов, детских садов, школ и больниц. Уважаемые друзья, символично, что нынешний саммит проходит в Институте мира имени Дональда Трампа. Наша встреча является ярким проявлением международной солидарности, миротворчества и общего стремления к улучшению ситуации на Ближнем Востоке. Мы должны использовать эту историческую возможность для построения новой Газы с процветающей экономикой и достойным условием жизни для всего населения. Благодарю за внимание.
The President of the Republic of Indonesia.
President Trump, distinguished delegates, Indonesia, from the first day that we studied President Trump's 20-point plan, we completely agree and we are fully committed to this plan, and that is why we joined the Board of Peace. We are committed to its success. We know there will be a lot of obstacles, there will be a lot of difficulties, but we are very optimistic with the leadership of President Trump. This vision of real peace will be achieved. There will be problems, but we will prevail. We will achieve our dream of peace in Palestine, peace, a lasting and peaceful solution for the Palestinian problem and in Gaza. The achievements of the ceasefire is real. We commend this, and therefore we reaffirm our commitment to contribute significant number of troops, up to 8,000 or more if necessary. We are prepared to contribute the troops to take part actively in the international stabilization force to make this peace work. Thank you very much.
The President of Romania.
First of all, President Trump, thank you for convening this very important meeting, and thank you for your involvement and leadership for the peace plan in Gaza, a peace plan that has been comprehensive and stable, and also for your efforts and results in other parts of the world. I think everyone desires peace, stability, prosperity in Gaza, but the question is how to act for, and it's why this meeting and this format is important. What Romania can do? First, on the humanitarian situation, we can increase the number of flights in order to extract children with disease and to treat in Romanian hospitals. We've done already, and we can do for 1,000 children and 4,000 family members. Secondly, we had a good expertise in emergency response system like ambulance, fire systems, and we can help in order to rebuild that system, and we can donate some equipment. Third, we are already offering some scholarships for Palestinian students, and we can extend the program, and we can help also to rebuild, refurbish the schools in Gaza. And fourth, I think the most important, we had also some expertise. We can help to rebuild the institutions, like police, like justice, like public administration. We have done that in other parts of the world, so we have some expertise. We can contribute with experts, with trainers. And also it's important to say that we have traditionally good relation with Jewish people and with the Palestinian people, so it will help. So we can count on us.
Thank you. The Prime Minister of the Republic of Albania.
Thank you for inviting me to be part of this journey, Mr. President. The fully aligned bipartisan vote of support this initiative received in our parliament speaks for itself about how honored Albania is to be a founding member of this new organization. Many in Europe say the Board of Peace is meant to substitute the United Nations. It does not look to me like an attempt to replace the UN, but if it helps shake that agonizing giant and inshallah wake it up, then God bless the Board of Peace. Mr. President, we commend your decisive role in bringing a halt to the heartbreaking conflict in Gaza, and Albania has confirmed its participation in the stabilization force with our troops. At the same time, I propose that this board invite all countries to contribute directly by building a dedicated public facility for Palestinian children, and in doing so, the world would help the children of Gaza, who are the most innocent hostages of the lunacy of Hamas, to grow within the tangible presence of the largest chain of hands humanity has ever joined together, by not only putting the money, but bringing their own architects in this, so the world will transform an wound of history into an oasis of hope, where compassion takes concrete form and the future is shaped around those who deserve it most, the next generations of Palestinians. Albania will be privileged to stand in that chain. Allow me very briefly to draw your attention to another open conflict closer to home, where President Trump's leadership during his first term brought Kosovo and Serbia closer than ever to a final peace agreement. The president of Kosovo was then brutally prevented from traveling to the White House to sign that agreement in the presence of President Trump. And this was the doing of the very same Sicario prosecutor that went after President Trump himself, and for that became worldwide famous. Today, the Kosovo president have now spent 6 years in pretrial detention before a special court in The Hague, sponsored by several democratic states, some of them present here, that should be shamed of that type of international justice. Just last week, Mr. President, another prosecutor funded by this great country and its taxpayers requested 45 years of imprisonment for him, a request that sent shockwave of humiliation through an entire peace-seeking nation. At this moment, only a few months stand between a man who rose from resistance to ethnic cleansing to become a peacemaker and the potentially devastating outcome in a court that has so far failed at every step to uphold the standards of democratic justice. For the sake of God, Mr. President, let's do something before, as you say, very bad things might happen again. And again, thank you so much for including Albania in this noble initiative by bringing close friends of Israel and of the Arab countries. We very much hope to be an added value in your amazing vision.
Next, the Prime Minister of Egypt.
Your Excellency President Donald Trump, distinguished participants, I thank President Trump for convening this meeting. His Excellency's direct involvement and commitment to promoting peace in the region has been instrumental in achieving an end to the conflict in Gaza, which was previously considered untenable. Egypt supports President Trump's vision to usher in a new era of peace and coexistence among the people of the region, in which the Palestinian people enjoy the rights to self-determination and statehood in accordance to relevant international resolutions. Egypt also appreciates President Trump's firm position on rejecting the annexation of the West Bank. Egypt supports the mandate of the Board of Peace as a principal framework for governing the transitional period in Gaza. It is necessary to fully empower the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza to function effectively from within and throughout the Strip. Also, preserving the institutional and geographical link between the West Bank and Gaza is vital for the Palestinian Authority to eventually resume its role in Gaza. Within the framework of Egypt's support to President Trump's plan, Egypt will continue its effort to train Palestinian police personnel to maintain security within the Strip. Egypt values President Trump's position rejecting the deportation of the Palestinian people from Gaza as reflected in the 20 points plan, and stresses the importance of initiating early recovery projects in the whole of the Strip in a manner that preserves its geographic unity. Let us consider today's meeting as an initial step in advancing these objectives. Again, thank you, Your Excellency President Trump.
Thank you. The Prime Minister of the State of Qatar.
Thank you. Mr. President, distinguished members of the Board of Peace, thank you for convening this meeting under the banner of peace. Qatar reaffirms its commitment to the Board of Peace as it was committed to the very first day of the mediation efforts. From that day until the end, when we have witnessed in that historical moment in Sharm el-Sheikh the signing of this agreement together with our partners. For decades, this conflict has burdened our region and the world, and our responsibility remains to achieve a just and lasting resolution. The board, under the President Trump leadership, will advance the full implementation of the 20 points plan without delay, ensuring fairness and justice for both Palestinians and Israelis. In this spirit, Qatar pledges $1 billion in support to the board mission aimed at reaching a final resolution that fulfills Palestinian aspiration for the statehood and recognition, and the Israeli aspiration for security and integration. We will also continue our humanitarian coordination together with our UN partners and the Board of Peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of the UAE.
Mr. President, thank you for gathering us today. I really hope that the beginning of Ramadan will give us all guidance towards peace, coexistence, and living in prosperity with each other. Mr. President, just over 5 years ago, you with your friend, my president, Sheikh Mohammed, and the Prime Minister of Israel launched the Abrahamic Accords. And since then, we've managed not only to work with you, with Israel, towards a better future for the region, but even when October 7th took place, the UAE managed to work with Israel in providing, since the war started, almost $3 billion of assistance to the Palestinian people in Gaza. Today, Mr. President, the UAE announces a further $1.2 billion for supporting Gaza through the Board of Peace, which I'm delighted that I've been working with so many friends like Steve and Jared, Secretary Rubio, who's been so inspiring in so many other ways, on so many other fronts, and looking forward working with him for in the future. And Mr. President, if it wasn't for your support, I think this board would not have been gathered. We would not have had the meeting in New York to end this war, when you gathered 8 leaders of the region to end this war. So, Mr. President, during Ramadan, we pray for your success. Thank you.
Thank you. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Morocco.
Thank you. Mr. President, His Majesty King Mohammed VI welcomes and supports your vision and leadership to foster peace and prosperity around the world, and in particular in the Middle East. Thanks to your peace plan for Gaza, a ceasefire was achieved, a tragic war was ended, lives were saved, and a pragmatic and forward-looking approach to rebuild Gaza was crafted. Today, as a committed founding member of the Board of Peace and upon instructions of His Majesty King Mohammed VI, Morocco is pledging the following in honor of the President Trump's visionary peacemaking. 1, Morocco has already made the first ever financial contribution to the Board of Peace. 2, Morocco is ready to deploy police officers and train policemen from Gaza. 3, Morocco will deploy a high-ranking military officers to ISF Joint Military Command. 4, Morocco will deploy a military field hospital. 5, Morocco is ready to lead a de-radicalization program to fight hate speech and promote tolerance and coexistence. To conclude, allow me, Mr. President, to briefly highlight 4 elements. The conditions set in phase 2 of the 20-point plan should be met for the success of our action. Preserving stability in the West Bank is crucial. The Palestinian ownership is important through legitimate institutions. Lastly, you are, Mr. President, the only leader able to bring peace to the Middle East. We hope that the stabilization of Gaza will help launching a global and genuine peace process based on the two-state solution. Thank you.
Thank you. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Turkey.
Mr. President, distinguished participants, after 2 years of immense suffering, ceasefire in Gaza has been achieved thanks to President Trump's personal engagement and our collective efforts. Yet the humanitarian situation remains fragile, and ceasefire violations continue to occur. A prompt, coordinated, and effective response is therefore essential. President Erdogan remains fully committed to Gaza's security